Hello and welcome to episode 32 of whatever podcast we called this week. And hello, Blake, and Leanne? How are you both today?
Good morning.
Hello, Octo. Oh, thank you. I was going to complain, you realise.
Yeah, I didn't even realise that. You know, we were speaking for, 40 minutes before we started? I didn't even realise. Like I said numerous times, these eyes are painted on, so I can't realise. But today, I suppose we've got a lot to get through, so I want to get to the topic straight up because we've got to keep Graham happy. We can't waste his time. So today we're going to talk about alternative business ventures. We find a lot of our consumer base, I suppose, a lot of our viewers, primarily flock to eBay. The US ones probably flock to Mercari and Etsy and all those different things as well. So we're going to try and talk a little bit about different business ventures that personally I'm looking at as well this year. I'm not too sure about Blake and Leanne, but we want to talk a little bit about what you could probably do after eBay. So I wouldn't necessarily just use eBay as the, hey, I'm just going to sell on eBay for the rest of my life mentality, which I see a lot of YouTube resellers have. Obviously, this is dependent on the market you're in. So, if you're in different countries, it might be more relevant or different in those respective areas. But before I start, Blake, do you have any news that you want to share on the topic?
On the topic of this?
Yeah.
No.
But what about sharing some news since our last podcast episode?
That's right, Blake.
Oh, we didn't go over that, did we? No. Okay. So well, my personal news is I got engaged in a week. So
You'll have to say it again.
You cut off the house part, but
I'll have to cut out the other bit in editing. So congratulations on your engagement. And
thank you.
Yes, congratulations.
Good.
Very excited.
It's good news. Yeah, thank you.
Engagement and a new house soon.
That's right. So Blake will be stretching himself even further on eBay, and I suppose that I'm not going to say it was primarily the reason for doing this episode, but that definitely contributes because, obviously Blake moving into a new part of his human existence, he probably needs to look at more things just to generate income coming through.
Yes, because he's all grown up now. He's got to be like a responsible grown-up adult now.
Poor human.
Yes. Oh, no.
You still can, Lisa.
No, I've owned houses and property before, but I haven't been engaged, so I've got to pretend I've got to put my nice boy pants on.
It's a bundle, the engagement and the house all together, yeah.
True, yeah, bigger responsibilities, big boy.
Yeah, I'd probably go to Al Bundy for any relationship advice. You can't go wrong with that. And anyway, so and some good news for you, Granny, that I see that you slithered over the 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations.
Yeah.
I didn't think it would happen, but here we are.
Yes.
Would you like to care to share to tell people how you did that?
Well, somebody might have told me on Thursday during our live stream how they managed to get over 1,000 subscribers. So I thought I would do the same thing. Yep.
Yeah,
so I did the same thing.
That's another topic we could talk about as well. We can add that to the list of things that you could probably look at expanding into.
Only grands.
Yeah, only grands and only tentacles. Yeah, so I might get the wrong market with only tentacles though.
Yeah, I think so.
No, you did say, didn't you, that your last video that you put up was mostly male viewers too, didn't you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, and for some reason, my short that I did the other day that popped off pretty well. Went I think it was like at 98% viewership in the US. So they all like their Pokemon games over there for some reason.
Apparently,
but I suppose that, like I was saying earlier, is that a lot of people hang their head on eBay, and I'm finding it in the Facebook groups, a lot of Reddit posts, a lot of, and this is, not only Australia, but I've also in a couple of US eBay groups as well. Is that, that I suppose people they don't realize the fees attributed to eBay because the amount of posts are saying, "Hey, I sold $400 worth of X." And how dare eBay take $100 away in fees and all these different things? So I think, for the brand new sellers that have popped onto the platform in the last, probably 2 weeks or 4 weeks, probably jump onto those YouTube videos that give you like a step-to-step breakdown of how to sell on eBay. There's a dime a dozen out there. So, by all means, jump on and see what you need to do. Because eBay fees are just, a fact of life, like no different to and what we will be talking about a bit later about Shopify and all those different things, there's no difference to that. So your eBay fees are pretty much, if you look at it from a perspective of marketing, because if you open up a Shopify website, you're going to be paying Google ad fees probably in the same vicinity to try and publicize your website. So
yeah, so well, I will say that, and I'll just have a quick look here. So on average, for overseas, my eBay fees work out 15 to 24%, depending whether it's an organic sale or a promoted sale. So it'll be around 15% if it's organic, and around the 24% if it's promoted. And yeah, you just have to be aware that they charge the fees. The percentage of the final value fee is also charged on the postage. So you'll notice you've got your, so if it goes to America, you've got your cost of your what they pay for the item, then you've got your postage amount, and then you've got your sales tax. And so that fee is calculated on all of those together. So that's, and it's no different. I mean, that's what we pay, and you just have to be aware of that. But then on Depop, because I do the boost on Depop, I'm paying 18% anyway. So, hey, it all works out about the same, doesn't it?
Yeah, and that's right. I'm glad that you brought up the sales tax because, and it's no different to if you're sending things to the UK, you get VAT tax. And also New Zealand as well, if you get the GST tax as well. And you don't see $1 of that. You basically doesn't go to your account. It's counted into your transaction because, like Leanne was saying, is that the fee will, take into all those into considerations. Is it unfair? Yes. Can you do anything about it? No. Get over it.
Yeah.
Pretty much the
Suck it up. Put your big girl pants on or your big boy pants on. And look, we go back to the same old thing, which was probably said, in every second episode, that if we actually had a brick and mortar stores, the amount that we would be paying towards running those stores would be huge. And, you've got to equate that to what your fees are on eBay. We're still getting value for money as far as what we're paying, I think.
Well, that's exactly right. And I'll add brick and mortar stores to the things we're going to talk about today as well, and I think that, people aren't educated, and that sounds horrible, but it's a state of a fact. Like we were saying, is the amount of people that have literally no idea how the fee structure works. And even in the Facebook group that I was seeing this morning is that, people are assuming that eBay is free for US residents. If it's a private sale, it's free. So there's a whole subsection of people out there that have no idea. They're just listing these things on eBay, expecting to get the money and off they go. But you need to think eBay's a global a global business. They're not doing things for charity or for niceties kind of thing. So,
and I would encourage. You go.
I see a lot of people in those groups and stuff complaining about the fees and the percentage of fees and promotions and all that sort of stuff. And they can be high, but like you say, with like Shopify and stuff, you got to do your own advertising, you got to run your own ads, all that kind of thing. Like when I used to have a Shopify store myself, and the amount that I spent on Facebook ads back then was a lot more than the fees that I'll spend on an item to sell on eBay. So I honestly think it's still quite reasonable.
And before.
Well, I was going to say, what I would encourage people to do is on some of your transactions, go into your orders and then scroll down to the bottom, and you'll see under the order earnings, which is the amount you get, there's a little link you can click on, which is see more details. And you click on that and it opens up in a new window, and it actually breaks down what the fees actually are. And you can go, there's another little link where it says view, so you can actually go right in and actually explains what exactly your fees are. So I'm just looking at one now. I sold a VHS yesterday, and so it goes through and it tells me that the rate for that was $24.99 times 11.9% was the final value fee based on that, which was $2.97. And then there's the fixed final value fee of 30 cents that we pay. So all in all, that was $3.27. And then you've got your GST on top of that, so $3.60. So you need to get an idea of the breakdown, just keep clicking on those links and go through and actually look at the breakdown. And that will give people a bit more of an idea of where that money's going.
Yeah, and I think what I was going to say is that every YouTuber I was about to say worth their salt, but every YouTuber says this. You make money with the buy-in, right? Like if you're spending $1 and selling it for 100, I really don't see the grounds of you whinging about $30 in fees. Realistically, And if you're spending $70 and selling it for 100 and getting $65 back after fees, that's your fault. Like that you really need to know how to sell the item and look at it as a learn process. Like it's a cheap education that you made one mistake, learn from there. And even this post that I was referring to earlier, it wasn't on the eBay page; it was on a different page I'm on to, but they didn't even take postage into consideration. What they did is that they literally had no idea. They put like a whole bunch of Funko Pops on an auction. Then they basically were expecting thousands of dollars. They got their base price of $400, which was less than they actually paid for it. Walked away with about $325 after fees. Then have to post it from one side of America to the other side of America. So literally, this could have been avoided with maybe 5 minutes worth of research, and that's what it is most of this time. Is that literally, like I said numerous times, go into a Facebook group, ask a question before you even put pen to paper on eBay. Ask a question, work out how the system works. It'll take you 10-15 minutes maximum. Then you know exactly what you need to do from there. So
there's that many calculators like on the phone, on the internet and that you can use, which will automatically calculate and account for all the fees anyway. So you can make those decisions before you buy. Like I do that even now. Like I'm like, I know a rough idea, but I'll still double check it to make sure that, if something's borderline, it'll either show me, okay, that's a little bit too expensive, or okay, I can go ahead and buy it. But you need an understanding. Because I saw one the other day in another group, which was basically the person set free shipping and thought it was free for them to ship. So I thought shipping, I thought shipping was free. Why am I having to pay $75 for shipping? It's like, well, no, it's not free at all. It's never free. Like it's not one of those things. So it's one of those things you need to understand.
This is why the octopuses are going to take over the world, because obviously that mindset. And I've actually got that down from one of my Dear Octo episodes that will be coming out next week when I'm feeling a little bit better. Yes, I was quite perplexed by that question.
And the other thing is too, with eBay in particular, now Depop's a different beast because its fees are set. So you pay a 10% selling fee based on how much you sell the item for. And then if you're going to do promoted, which is what they call boost, it's 8%. So it's easy. It's 18%. Now, be aware that on eBay, depending what category you're selling in, your fees can range anywhere from like 5%, right up to probably, 13 or more percent. So the calculators are good. And all you have to do is go into Google and type in eBay calculator and then type in your country afterwards. And there will be eBay calculators that will pop up that you can use to, see how much profit you're likely to make off something.
Well, and eProfit on the phone too. That's a good one.
Yeah, eProfit on the phone is a good app. Yeah, it is.
But and that's something that I wanted to. I'm glad you said that, Leanne, because it's something else that I've been thinking about as well. Is that, I've got to slide into this week's topic. What you can do, what you can do after eBay, or what you can do, supplement eBay and all these different things. And what Leanne just said then is, obviously do all those different things. But one of the things I had written down was, create a Chrome extension and start, selling it, on a subscription service, like maybe $1.99 a month or something along lines of that. There's quite a popular one in Australia called My Post Buddy. I think it's My Post Buddy. It's been done by Paul Lowry. And I've told him numerous times.
It's actually called My Post Business Buddy.
Oh, there we go. My Post Business Buddy.
Get it right. Octo.
Well, it updates with itself. So I haven't had to update it for a while. So basically, long story short, is that cuts out a lot of work for resellers, right? So he's doing it, I suppose, for the goodness of his heart. But from my stance, that would be a perfect side hustle to eBay, because you're identifying a hole in the market that the audience needs or audience wants. Monetize it. There is no shame in monetizing these things, right? Like I said, that $1.99 a month, and he could possibly make $300, $400, $500 a month easy. That would be on the very end scale of things. Like, and on the flip side, what Leanne was just saying then is that create a Chrome extension for the eBay calculator that that you just basically click a button. You look at it. It might be a case that I might be looking at a shirt that Blake's selling on eBay, for example, and you click the button and it will come up saying that, all right, the list price is $14.99. The postage is $10, so $25. All these different things, and it'll convert and have a look at different things to say if it's a sale, if it's a good price to resell or something like that. So these are different things that you could probably look at. But yeah, I definitely do think that creating something like a Chrome extension could supplement. You'd need to find the niches in the market. I think that, like I said, I've spoken to Paul numerous times in the past about monetizing it, because currently he's got like buy me a coffee attached to it. But yeah, like I said, that the amount of times it saves me on a daily basis, I'd be happy to pay for it. So
like how many of us would pay $1.99 a month for it? We would all pay for it. So,
Yeah.
So
it's one of those things that once you got it, you don't want to not have it. Like, yeah.
Well, that's right.
I also, I think we all do anyway, probably pay a subscription for CrossFit Magic, and that's one of those things. I mean, you do get to use that for free when you first start, but then if you're going to continue to use it, and I'm using it every single day to cross list, and the amount of time it takes to list an item, like it's cutting that in half or more for me to send an item over once I've listed it on eBay, click the button, send, and it basically lists it on Depop. So, and you can use that for other platforms as well. And there are lots of other of those cross-listing tools. I mean, that's the only one that works for us in Australia. So, I mean, that's probably an opening too.
Yeah, well, that's exactly right. And it's all about finding a hole in the market, right? And as much as I hate to say it, though, that eventually, if Paul doesn't monetize that product, someone will come in and monetize it for him. Because it's only like 100%. It's only a Google script. It's only a script that goes into Google as an edit, and and all they need to do is make it marginally better. Basically, it might be a case that it does an auto dump to a CSV file or an Excel file or something like that, just to give you like a monthly round out of your postage expenses for that month, or even a forecast of where you're going between the bands. And then they could potentially pay $4.99 a month for it, and then Paul's product will eventually fall off because it's been outdated. So, but like I say, that's something you need to find a niche in the market, and if you're that savvy that you can pretty much like plug that in and off you go, and you can make yourself a nice little side hustle in abundance to eBay. So. With that, and that's probably closest to a passive income as you can think.
And that's what I was just about to say too, because the beauty of doing something like that is it's creating a passive income. So once you've actually done the work to create something like that, then it does its own thing, and that leaves you the time to go and do something else. And one of the things I've sort of considered that I'm looking at too is with my spreadsheet that I use. Because it's sort of like there are some, like Chris Furlong's got a spreadsheet that he and Ethan Rushock have built, which is, quite in-depth one. Then we've got Two Aussie Thrifters. Brad's made one, which is more simplistic. And they both work really well for what you want them to do. But there's sort of a hole in the middle area, because I found like using one of them doesn't quite give me enough information that I need. Like, so if you're someone that needs to report your income, say, to Centrelink, or you want to have more of a breakdown of stuff, then there is kind of like a hole in the middle there for that. So, yeah.
That's exactly right. Because as much as I hate to draw attention to those two spreadsheets, right? They're basically Jazz and Brad are dink, right? So they're double income, no kids. And then Chris Furlong's, obviously, he's got a partner, but he would be classed as a single income, right? And what Leanne's saying is that what about resellers with families and all these different the childcare fees and all these different things. So you can always merge a very basic family budget with a input with eBay, so basically feeds in to that to that family budget where people can adjust that spreadsheet to fix to their finances and all these different things, or create a plugin from that. So there's all these different things that you can look in. So
well, because one of the things that I've sort of been looking at too is because I do track other things in my spreadsheet than just my numbers. Like there are things like, because I'm a book reseller, I track the authors' names of stuff that I'm selling. And you could there is that whole thing of what people want to track as well. And that there's a lot of talk about you should, time yourself doing this, time yourself doing that. And where do you write all that down? How do you work out what you do need to track? So there's sort of like a bit of, there's a little bit of, work that could be done there.
Yeah, and that's right. Like, like there's numerous things, because I could go on all day about all the different programs you could create. Like, my background is in process mapping, so in the sense that, like Leanne might, I might spend a day with Leanne and work out everything she does, and I, go back and create, a document for her, like, basically almost a document that she can use to say, hey, well, look, you're spending a lot of time doing this, or you're wasting a lot of time doing this, and all these different things. So you need, if you cut this down, or you might be a case of moving your printer closer to you, or moving your photo station closer to you, so you're not walking between 3 rooms and all those different things. So you get the benefit on the back end eventually, because you're saving wasted man hours from that perspective. So like I said, there's all these different things you can do, and it might be a case of writing standing operating procedures. So if you're quite good at writing, look at that for English. And if Leanne said, hey, look, I'm quite busy, I don't have time to write down what I necessarily do, perform that task for us. Say, hey, look, I'm happy to write it, even if you duplicate your own standing operating procedures, and then sell that for $50 or $20 or $10 or something along the lines of that. Then people just modify it as they need to, because like I said, there's always a market in those. And we have spoken about previously about scams and all these different things in the reselling space. But if you know what you're doing, and it's justified, it's not a scam. Like, like you need to, you can't be just reselling for 3 weeks and all of a sudden you're a guru and releasing Amazon courses and all these different things. Like Brad and Jazz, for example, they've just recently created a Discord group and a members page and all these different things. They know the stuff back to front, but they know their business back to front, right? So that not necessarily, transcribes across everyone. And this is the same things I've said about tech in the previously, is that, that he knows his business back to front. There's no way he can know everyone out of his 1,000 members, or how many people he's got in his group, how their business is run. So he's only given generalized advice. So you need to look from that different perspective. If you could provide like a one-on-one service, or a very dumbed down service for all these different things, because these people providing these courses are catering from everyone from like just started yesterday all the way to running a business for 25 years. So you need to if you can eke your market out in a little area, you could go from there. And that's not a dig at tech, or not a dig at Brad and Jazz, but it's just that it's just a reasonable.
Yeah, because one of the things I've discovered, like, because I've sort of set my Discord group up and my YouTube channel, which I've only just put the memberships on, which are basically, like if anyone wants to support the channel, it's not to pay me to do anything, because it's only like, what is it, $1.49 or something. But the one thing I've actually realised is that people are willing to pay. People these days are very time poor. And so to get to that next level, or to find out what they want to know, they don't want to take the time perhaps that I've taken to research something, and they are happy to contribute for you to do that for them.
Well, that's right. Well, like I said numerous times, right? Like there's no shame in running courses and all these different things if you are a subject matter expert. Don't try and sell $100 course when you've got like 18 negative feedback in the last month or something, because obviously you're doing something wrong. But if you have been, like Brad and Jazz, for example, that I look up to them as resellers, in the sense that whatever, we have conversations, and I help them and they help me in some respects and all these different things. But like people like that, I wouldn't have no problem with paying a membership fee and all those different things. But like I was saying before, is that you need to be mindful of the fact is how many people are in their membership fee. They are running a business themselves. That you paying $4.99 doesn't necessarily automate you to have 24-hour access to them. Or likewise with tech, right? So you need to be very mindful of the product you're paying for, because I think a lot of people jump into that lower level, that $1.49 or $4.99 level, whatever people have, and they expect that that they can have you on call 24 hours to answer their questions, kind of thing. So you need to be very mindful of that as well. And there's no harm in you. Excuse me. There's no harm in you doing the research first and say, hey, look, I've done a bit of research in this respect. This is what I'm thinking. Am I along the right lines? And people have reached out to me personally in that respect, and and I'll give them a more thorough answer because they've actually done a little bit of research before reaching out. So
yeah. And, for the likes of Brad and Jazz, and they've made that point with their memberships, which are very inexpensive, I might add. But they do need, because they're going to be taking time away from their reselling business to actually help people with that. They do need to be compensated for that, because otherwise they're going to go down in income. So yeah, that's the other thing. Like, those fees contribute towards paying them to give them the time that they can spend doing what they're doing. And yeah, it's good.
Well, that's exactly right. And I would argue that for everyone, right? Like, if it, like for Blake, for example, if he's doing, answering question after question after question after question, like, 9 or 10 hours a day, that, it might be a case of him opening up a $9.99 membership that you do get like an access to him for a certain period of time, so you can ask you questions. Because like I said, that like what Leanne was saying then, is because it does become not tiresome or boring. I suppose it does become a bit it starts impacting your primary place of work, or where you're doing your revenue for. Because
and as much as you don't mind answering and helping people, which I don't, but I've actually been sort of timing a little bit for myself, and I have to allow at least a good half an hour in the morning, and then another half an hour afternoon and half an hour evening to keep up with all the comments and questions on the Discord. So that's an hour and a half over the day, which I don't mind putting in, but I'm just saying, if I was a higher level seller and I all of a sudden started that up and was taking that hour and a half away from my working hours to do that, there would need to be some sort of compensation then,
Yeah, well, you're potentially losing out on more income from the more money.
Right.
Like, you could get up another, 10 listings in that time, sort of thing, which could make you another couple $100. So it's like you gotta balance it really, and it's got to be a payoff.
And before I close off this, with all the pitchforks and torches that are probably no doubt going to come at us, is that I think you need to look at it from a perspective, is it transparent, right? Like, if people, if they're saying, hey, I'm charging you $4.99 a month to do absolutely nothing, like our channel membership fees, just supporting the channel, or because you want to help out, that's no problem. Like, we're completely transparent. This is what you're getting. And hi, Shane, there's your shout out. I forgot your shout out for Easter. But I will get into Shane's Soda City flips in a minute. But the thing is, though, that you need to be transparent. If you're paying $4.99, you need to be providing a service, or letting people know what you're getting for that service. There's no use saying, hey, look, I'm going to charge $24.99 or $39.99, and then it's almost like a lucky dip of what you're actually getting. So just be very mindful if that you are going down that route, and that goes to the people that are looking to go down that route, like of monetizing, I suppose, their time to help people out, or even if you're looking at getting assistance from some people. And like I said, and Leanne said it to a degree as well, is that I'm always happy to help. But if it gets to the point where the same person's asked me, they might hit me up about a bunch of Skylanders, and it's like, no worries, this is the ones you look for. Then 5 minutes later, they start sending me individual photos. What's this one worth? What's this one worth? What's this one? So, that's when it will start becoming a bit tiresome, and I suppose ruin it for everyone. Which I haven't had yet.
I think you're quite right there too. When you're a person that is answering questions and stuff like that, and you're having people ask you, which the three of us all get that, because it does happen. And if the person is just coming out because they're too lazy to do any research for themselves, you it's harder to answer, because you feel like, just go and look it up first. But if they've done a little bit of basic research, but they're still struggling with working it out, I'm more than happy to help.
That's right.
They would do a little bit themselves first.
Yeah,
definitely. Like, there's, I get a few where they're just, it's clear that they haven't done any effort themselves. Like, I'll just go to Blake to get the answer, kind of thing. I used to just give them the answer, but now I'm more like, okay, type this into YouTube and you'll get an idea of how to do it, kind of thing. Because I'm just not going to sit there for an hour each day and just reply to the people and just be like, okay, this is exactly how you can run your whole entire business, and that, because one, I don't have time to, walk you through absolutely everything. I can give you pointers, but can't tell you exactly how to do it. And two, I don't know everything. Like, I'm not going to tell you how I do it when, there's a million ways to do it, like in the right way. So I'm not going to pretend I know everything.
And that's the thing, and I will say, particularly with Octo early on, and as much as I don't want to, give him praise, and Chris Furlong was another one that I asked questions of, and Brad from Two Aussie Drifters, to the three of them, like the different times I had asked them for help, or that they'd proffered their help because they'd seen me ask something in a live stream or something, but it was always like not giving me the full information, but leading me to where I needed to go to find the information. And for me, that was great because I love to suck up and learn, and my brain just wants to take in all that information. So for me, that was great because you learn it a lot better if you're doing it. Like, so if if you have to go in and then, as you say, just the fact of typing it in, it sticks in your brain more.
Yeah, but if you go into a person just to get the answer and that kind of thing, you're not learning the process. You're not learning how they came to that answer. You're going to go, you're going to do what they say, and then you forget about it. And then you're going to have to ask another person and that. But if you actually do it yourself or figure it out yourself, you're not going to forget it. So,
and I suppose that I'm a bit of a victim to my own statement, is that I love Skylanders, right? So when people ask me about Skylanders, I could talk all day about them and all these different things. So I'm more than happy to help people out.
We know.
So and like I said, that I'm more than happy to provide that assistance to people. It's just that and I'm if anyone's reached out and asked me questions, this is not directed at anyone. I'm just saying, I can see this happening down the path. That like Granny was saying, what Blake was saying is that someone comes across 500 Skylanders, and I'm going to get 500 individual messages. What about this one? What's this one? Oh, this one's broken. What do you reckon this one's worth? That's where I'll probably draw the line at. If it's just generalized questions in the Discord, because I answer them at my leisure. I'm not a beck and call because I'm not. As much as I love helping Leanne out, I'm not contractually obligated to answer those questions. It's just by virtue of that's what I enjoy, so I'll do it, and especially at my leisure. So, but like I said, but the bugger is, Octo. Every time I've asked you when I've found Skylanders and said, "Are these worth buying?" Every single time, what do I get back? Yeah, you get back an appropriate response because they're always crap.
I do. It's crap.
But the thing is, though, that like I said, you just need to be mindful of and especially, I suppose it's no different to if you're working at an organization and you've got someone that comes to you and asks you all these 4,000 questions and all these different things. You're probably going to get very sick of it as well. So you need to be mindful of people and their time. And like Blake was saying, learn how to do it and all those different things. And you probably get a better response if you're at least shown some sort of, try to assist yourself in some capacity, because, that's probably the best way to go. But I think I'll tie that episode up now, like that little bit, before we move on to YouTube.
A little bit, didn't we?
Yeah, moving on to YouTube now as an alternative source of income to supplement your eBay store. And I'm finding a lot more of these, especially in YouTube groups. You've got self-proclaimed YouTube gobs popping up left, right, and center on Facebook groups like in Australia and UK and US.
Yep.
Telling people that they should be doing this and they should be doing that and all these different things. I think YouTube, to me, and like Granny, I've just been recently monetized, and I think what I've got out of YouTube is basically connections and networking. That's basically what I've looked at it from perspective. You're not going to make millions and millions and millions of dollars on reselling content on YouTube because it's quite a saturated market. Just for I suppose some sort of figure out there. I've got a short that at the moment it's close to 4,000 views and it's got 17 cents. That's what that's what YouTube's paying me. So, like I said, you're not going to go run off to the States and do the big conventions over there over 17 cents. But like I said, that I look at it primarily from the networking perspective and the contacts that I've made through that space. So, if you are looking at using YouTube to supplement yourself, I think for me it's been worth it. What about you, Leanne? I'll get to Blake in a second.
Oh, look, definitely has been worth it for me even so far for the networking and this, even the socialization. Like my Friday Night Live stream that I do is fantastic. It's just good way to relax and talk to people and that sort of thing. I will say though that I have the intention of and it wasn't when I started out because it wasn't. I didn't think I'd ever get to this point where I get monetized. But as I started to realize that was a possibility, I work on my YouTube channel enough that there is constant content going up, and it's all what you would call evergreen content. content. So it's all based on stuff, how to do this, how to do that. And it's stuff that people can come back in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, 4 years' time, and they'll still be able to watch it and find out that information from watching that particular video. Because I know at my age, like my working life is a lot shorter than both of you put together probably. So I know that I'm not going to be able to be doing this, probably in 20 years' time. Oh, I'm going to be here and be pretty, slow.
Yeah.
So my idea with the YouTube channel is that eventually that is actually going to be great for me, because it's going to be passive income that is just going to roll along and make some sort of income. And it may not be a lot, but it will make some sort of income for me going forward.
Yeah. And what about you, Blake? Like, what do you think YouTube is? It obviously hasn't helped your facial hair, but
yeah, it's made me do some strange things, hasn't it? No, look, I just see YouTube as an amazing opportunity for all different ways, like whether it is monetization, that kind of thing, or like the community, that kind of thing is the biggest thing that I've got out of it, like you guys. But I've met some great people. Like if I didn't have my YouTube channel, or anything like that, I wouldn't be here doing this with you guys now. Like you wouldn't.
I wouldn't be Grubby Granny.
No,
I'd still be Leanne.
Yeah. But like that's the thing. Like it opens a lot of doors. Like whether it be just connections and people you can talk to, people you can meet up with, do fun stuff like that with. But even like I've had a couple good sourcing opportunities through people that have watched my videos and that kind of thing, because I just threw a passing comment in one of my videos that I was looking for someone, that I could get some stuff from. So like there's some great opportunities, and like you're right about the passive income stuff. Like I've got a video from I think about a year ago, which is about free shipping versus paid shipping. That's still paying me today. Like that's making I think about $1.50 a day roughly. And that doesn't sound like a lot, but over the course of a year, that pays up pretty big. Right. And it's the case if you get a good amount of those kind of videos, like the evergreen stuff or just any kind of video or whatever that goes well, if you post on a consistent basis, that really does add up, because it's almost like videos die off and stuff, but every video you add, it basically adds to your bank kind of thing of what videos you've got. And then you're going to earn more over time and that. And then as your audience builds, the more you're going to earn through that too. So there's great potential. There's so many people that have made like a full-time thing out of YouTube sort of thing. Like that's not necessarily what I'm looking to do with it. Like it's more of the community aspect for me, but it does provide an extra couple $100, every month or every couple months kind of thing, which doesn't go astray. Like it's a great thing. It's a great opportunity. In a lot of different ways. So,
because when I am actually really living in a nursing home, it'll be great because, pay for my snacks and, get me a couple of beers every week, it'd be good.
Yeah, or your jail canteen fund. But I suppose, further to what Blake was talking about there and Liam was talking there, it takes a lot of time, especially at the start. Because, Leanne and I are a bit different. We're not going to say, we're fantastic or superstars. Like, by all means, have a watch of our last week's video, because you can tell how fantastic we were at the start. But because we had a bit of we were known in the community before we did a YouTube video, right? So our views were probably not reflective on our first video of what, someone doing it from cold. Because there is a lot of fantastic YouTubers out there, like, Peachy and, I suppose, it's different ones I can't think of at the moment.
Christian.
Christian, I'll get to him in a second. So basically they're punching our videos, but they're only getting, maybe 100 views on that video, where we got, I think 400 or 500 views on that video at the moment. It's just by virtue because we've been known in the community. So that's what you probably want to do. Is my advice to people looking at using YouTube as a platform is probably give it 6 months before you jump onto YouTube, just to get your name out there in the community, just be known, then start publicizing yourself. Because I think that if Leanne and I jumped on just cold, without anyone knowing who we were, we'd be nowhere near where we are at the moment. Because it's definitely
that's what I did. But I wish I did what you guys did and actually networked a bit before I started out. And like the first few videos, I think they've still only got like 50, 60 views, and that's after 2 years or whatever it is. And like the first few videos of that, don't expect to get anything from it.
No.
Like you're probably not gonna at all. Like I got really lucky with a few good videos I put out that sort of went a bit haywire for the size of my channel, and that really helped me grow sort of to where we are now. But it's a tough thing, especially if you're starting without having, like you say, having that sort of already being known in the community.
Yeah. And like I will say, like as I said, my intent was I never ever thought I'm blown away that I've gotten to this point. But I was originally doing it probably more as a relaxation and for fun thing as well, like to create when I'm talking about creating my content, because that's a sort of, I enjoy doing that. That's something, editing photos and editing videos and that sort of thing was something I really enjoyed. So it was a bit of downtime for me to start with. So it had that aspect to it. So I quite enjoyed doing it. But, if you're someone that doesn't know anything about doing that sort of stuff, it's not like you can't learn to do it, but I'm just saying it does take time. And, my videos that I make today are very different to the videos that I made early on, where were highly edited and used to take me all day to do, to edit up one 10-minute video. And now I just get on and I just ramble and you get me mistakes and all, but it's done and dusted.
I think we've started a movement of unedited videos because we've never edited the videos to any. Well, I've been editing a few of the shorts, but that's pretty much the extent of my editing abilities. But I think you just need to be like Leanne was saying, is you need to do it for fun, opposed to for financial at the start. Like that we've recently been monetized, and I just want to draw attention to the fact that the reason why I was monetized for it is because there's Forrest Fines online. He did a shout out in his recent video and got me over about 600 subscribers. So big shout out to Christian.
I'm your Christian.
That's right. Yeah. So I'll put his link in the description below. Go over and check him out because he's definitely a big help to the Octopus, and that wasn't the reason. So so the reason why, and I'm not going to speak for Leanne or Blake, the reason why I was recently monetized because I was sitting on about 660 subs, I think it was, and Leanne was pimping herself out to the US, appearing on John and Josh's eBay Power Hour. So she was running quickly ahead of me because we had a bit of a gentleman's agreement that the first person to get to 1,000 subs would hold somewhat of power over the other person. Yes. And I think Liam wanted me to do a rap video. So if you're not aware that this channel had, I think, about 9,000 watch hours before we eventually clicked over to the 1,000. So we did have that in the bank. So keep mindful of that. So what we did is, what I do is I actually looked at YouTube promotions. So basically YouTube promotions is you can pretty much pay for your videos to be advertised to people watching on YouTube. So it's not
no different than doing promotions on eBay.
Well, that's exactly right. And it's like, if you think of it as promoted listings from eBay, right? So it's not like a dodgy, like you hear, especially people buying, call center subs or something along the lines of that. So people actually have to go watch your video and subscribe from that perspective. So long story short, I put $50 into their chat.
It puts it in front of them, and then but as you say, they still have to watch and subscribe.
Yeah, that's right. So $50 in there with the hopes of getting about 200 subs, which is what YouTube told me I'd get. So I was trying to level with Leanne to try and level the play field. And unfortunately, I woke up the next day, it was like 1,100. much to Leanne. And do I think they're going to be all quality subscribers? No, I don't. Like I said, that I wish I had a thought of this probably in September last year when we did hit the 4,000 hours, because we could have been monetizing, getting a little bit of money off the videos that we've been doing. So that's another thing that you need to be mindful of. I think Leanne and I started in June, or maybe we'll just say June. And we're pretty much now, which is almost 8 months later, we're still only up to 600, 700 subs. So it wasn't until we used this YouTube feature that we've been pushed over the edge. So.
Yeah, and I mean, and I had been, my subs had been going up because I was doing a lot of appearances on some of the international lives over in America, and special shout out to John and Josh for the eBay Power Hour, which was my last one. So that was all really good, and I got quite a few subscribers out of that came over after seeing me on that. But so I was up to about 860. So I wasn't far off the money, but I just thought I'd give it a little bit of a shove. So I stuck some promotions on, and $30 later and 2 days, and I'm there.
What were you saying?
Sorry,
finish.
I was just going to say, anyone that's thinking of doing that, don't do it unless you've got your watch hours already, because it's pointless. It's pointless having the subscribers if you don't have the watch hours.
Yeah. I was just going to touch on what you were saying with the 8 months, 600-ish subscribers, 700-ish subscribers. In YouTube world, that's actually extremely fast as well. Like that is really fast. So like if you're at that point or whatever,
not J-Rod flips fast.
No, it's not.
I checked him. It's 30,000 this morning. Jeez.
Yeah, but he's a unicorn. He's a unicorn too. Like he's he's done.
Well, I'm only $150 away from being a unicorn as well, Blake.
Yeah, apparently so. But no, like just if you're gonna start the YouTube thing, don't have big expectations and stuff like that. Yeah. Like I think as a statistic or whatever like that, but it's like well over 90% of channels don't ever get to 1,000 subscribers and that sort of thing. And it's like if you put in hard work, you'll get there 100%, but it will take a lot of time and a lot of effort. So,
because I think that the benefit for us, especially this channel, it's been by virtue of, Blake and, Leanne lending me their time, but, doing podcasts and doing weekly lives and having that consumer base that we've had from very early on and very grateful for, has, skyrocketed us to 9,000 watch hours. Because I know there's a lot of people in the US that
skyrocketed us to stardom.
No, that's right. No, but the thing is that there's a lot of people that I follow in the US, and Leanne and I speak to on a regular basis. Blake would probably too if he was awake, but because he normally wakes up for the podcast and goes back to bed. But we need to
give him a little fan, I think, blowing fresh air in his face.
Yeah, looks a bit hot. But the thing
is, cold enough.
If you're only doing short form content, so doing like 10-minute videos like Blake does, and there's nothing against that. Like, getting to that 4,000 watch hours, it's going to be a lot longer than doing 2 hours worth of content every week.
It was hard.
Shorts will get you subscribers, but the long form content is which is the longer videos. That's what you need for your watch hours, and live streams will get you watch hours.
Yeah, and I would even argue that the shorts, and what I found personally is that shorts are, to me, they're no different to the promoted listings, right? Like the promoted YouTube ads, because the people that subscribe through shorts aren't necessarily going to be watching the long form content. That Pokemon one I did the other day, I got I think it was 24 subs or something like that. But I'm primarily a reselling channel, right? And I was just teaching them how to look for fake Pokemon cards, which not only delves in the reselling space, but also delves in this, the game space. So, people that go, oh, this guy's going to teach me all about Pokemon, or teach me all about Skylanders, that they mightn't watch. They're like, oh, this guy's a reseller. I don't no interest in it, or vice versa. Yeah. So, you need to be mindful of that as well. Like, because I dare say we're going to cop a lot of flack going, oh, you pay for subs, rah, 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 rah. Well, no, we did the hard yards first, and we're just, catching up with everyone else. But you need to be mindful of is that, and I think it comes down to is that using things to your advantage, because I don't think, realistically, that people aren't going to tell you you've done a good job and all these different things and all these, if you can further yourself, like there's no different to, eBay or, YouTube or anything like this. You need a competitive advantage. And, if you're using, $50 worth of promotions, legitimate promotions through YouTube, and that gets you 1,000, fantastic. But like Liam was saying, is don't get your 1,000 subscribers with 16 watch hours, because it's not going to end well for you, because you're going to get disheartened because you're a long way away.
And don't start a channel, put out a couple videos, and then pay. If I pay like $200, I'll get to 1,000 subscribers and all that kind of stuff. Because you might, and that kind of thing. But then you'll put out your next video, and guess what? No one's going to watch it. No one's going to watch it, because it is organic in a way, and it does put stuff in front of people, but like you say, the quality of them isn't as good as if they were found completely organically.
And if you were wondering, if you thought if we were buying subscribers, you would have seen our numbers jump by 10.
Yeah, and like, or you can look at my social blade and it goes like 1 to 467, 3.
You look at mine, it goes 1, -1, -2, -3. Because I lose them every time I put up a video.
Yeah. The thing is, like I said, it's all about having a competitive advantage, right? Like, we've been completely transparent with how we got our subscribers. And, like one thing I attribute to a conversation I had with, Mel from Back from Burnout ages ago, because we live very close to each other, is like anything over 1,000 subscribers is just an ego thing. Your views is where it counts, right? So we just did that little push to get over 1,000 subscribers just so we can get monetized, because we quite enjoy this, but the rate of uptake we'd be here till we're long and buried in the ground before we get to 1,000 subscribers. And paying that $25, I think mine was $37.16 or something like that, and Leanne's is in the 20s, just to push you over enough to do that. I've turned off the promotions because I don't want to wake up tomorrow with 680,000 subscribers and only 16 views on my videos. Like,
and I was up to 967 last night, and I thought, I'll turn the promotions off. And I was very tempted to, because I thought it'll roll over anyway. But then I thought, if I get up in the morning and I haven't hit the 1,000, I'm going to be really sad and disappointed. So I thought, no, I'll leave it run till this morning, which I did, and I got over the line, and I turned them off straight away, because I'm there. I don't need to keep paying.
It all ties back to that return on your time as well, because you think, like, I do this podcast and live every week. Well, that's about probably close to 3 hours in total for the whole thing like that, and you want to get some sort of return on that. Like, it's not going to be much, but it's also 3 hours a week you're taking away from the business as well.
Yeah, that's right.
So, like all those before, the mentorships and stuff, if you want to
and I think, to me, and just to summarize the YouTube point, is that if you like got over 4,000 watch hours and you're very close to that 1,000 subscriber mark, it's probably worth it. Like I'll probably reach out to the Reselling Clickbait podcast, my beloved Ken and Corey, just to say, hey, look, if you're close, just maybe put $50 into the the YouTube promotions, just so it clicks you over, because I know that I think they're the first level subscribe, but the first level of YouTube partner program, but there's no shame in it, right? Because, like I said, it's a legitimate promotion through YouTube. It's not as if you're going to like a third world country promotion center where you've got bots punching them out for watch hours and views and all these different things. So
don't get onto YouTube and search how do I get subscribers, and go click it on the video.
Yeah, that's right. Like you probably won't go too well if you've got like 4,000 subscribers and no videos, or one video with like you're watering the garden or something, which I have seen in the past. Like, I don't know if that's ASMR or they've just bought subscribers. But
and then there was a guy, I was watching a guy one time, and he was saying how he got some of his watch hours up by running, the duck races that we've seen, that we do. He did a duck race for, I think, 10 hours or something, had a duck race go for 10 hours and just let that live stream.
Yeah, well, that's right. But like I said, that people find, and I suppose that would probably help the gambling addicts, because they'd be constantly, might have just did an internal bet on which duck that's going to do it in a family or something along lines of that. So, stuff like that.
The need.
Yeah.
But like it does take time and stuff, and a lot of effort, but you learn over time and you get better over time. Like just my favorite like example that I'll use, sort of, that a lot of people will know, is Graham's best friend, the Aussie Flipper. Like, you look at his early videos and stuff, it's just him sitting in front of a camera talking about different stuff like that. And now you look at his videos, they're pretty highly edited, very concise, well written kind of thing like that. And his subscribers and his hours and his views and stuff reflect the effort that he's put into YouTube over time. So like, it's kind of one of those things you got to give credit to, that is that, over time he's come a long way, and that'll happen to most people over time. Like, if you look at the first few videos and that, and then you look at what they're doing now, it's leaps and bounds over that. So
it's
just
episode 4 of the podcast.
We got some positive feedback on that. I think the feedback was like, please don't do that ever again.
I was watching it and thinking, please don't watch that ever again.
No, it was pretty bad. And Leanne said it was good when we first ran it through, because I never used to watch the old episodes because I was scared to, because I could imagine
I had to watch them and tell him whether they were worth putting up or not.
I know. And we had to re-record a couple of videos, which you probably need to do when you're a YouTuber. Like, the Dear Octo shorts and the shorts that I do, that the 15 or 30-second shorts. Like one of them, the Pokemon took me. I'm not going to lie. It took me 10 minutes to film and do the voiceover work, right? And they got like almost 4,000 views on that. But I edited one when I was up in the Gold Coast, dying of COVID. Well, I can't say that. I just lost the monetization. Dying of
you got to start thinking about that now.
Calamari 19. We're dying of Calamari 19. And I spent like 4 hours editing and doing the voiceover and all that. They got like 600 views. Like, so the amount of time that you contribute to a video is not necessarily going to be the same payout as what you do. And like we joke in a group chat that the less effort you put in, the better the video goes. So you just
seems
need
to be the
mindful.
case lately.
And like what Blake was saying about the Aussie Flipper is that you don't necessarily need to follow that tradition. I've seen very successful YouTubers that just sit in front of a camera and do like a live stream. Like they've got hundreds of thousands of YouTubers subscribers because they've got a following. They talk about stuff that all those different things. And I suppose this year personally, I want to kind of steer away from YouTube eBay. Like I want to try and branch it out because I think people we've almost I feel like we've almost done eBay to death, right? Like basically in the episodes we've done so far. But I want to kind of talk about reselling further abroad and like trying to give people more education in different areas and all these different things. And if I don't know about it, I'll research it or I'll actually perform some experiments. And
because I think one of the things, Octo, that we've sort of started to all of us have at one time or another realized. You get to that point where you do start selling on eBay. There is a point where you get to where you realize you can't keep all your eggs in one basket because maybe there's something wrong with the platform on eBay and you're not getting the sales you were. And if you're reliant on that income, you need to do something else. And that's where it comes in. And then you start looking at, well, where else can I, what other selling platforms are there? What am I good at that I can actually put into something else, and everyone's at a different stage of life. Like, as I said, my working life's short. So I have to do as much as I can, as hard as I can, while I can, to get the most out of it. And then, have stuff that is going to be like passive income for later on.
Yeah, that's right. And and I suppose that, I'll go move to Blake now because he said something that resonated with me that like Daily Refinement used to say, hey, look, Leanne used to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and do all her listings and all the postage, and she'd be finished at 9 o'clock and she had the rest of the day for herself. And talking to Blake is that it's kind of like a waste of a day because if you're only working 4 hours to make your income, that's a lot of hours left in the day that you can be sourcing different sorts of income. Like, what Blake said previously, he's done Uber Eats and Uber driving and all these different things to fill those hours up. And that's something that I probably want to look at this year is that, if I do eBay and I've got spare time, what can I be attributing to that spare time that can get you some sort of passive income? There's no such thing as 100% passive income. So, you're not going to find that. So, but if you front load doing things, like, I'm going to make this a 2-part episode because there's a lot of things that I want to discuss that we didn't get to today. You do the front load, and like Liam was saying, that she will have that passive income later on. It will naturally flow through. She might have to tap up a couple of things because the policy's changed on eBay, but that video might have a longevity of 4 or 5 years before it becomes outdated. So,
correct. Yeah. I mean, something like eBay coupons, for example. Now, I would imagine they're going to be around for a long time because they've been quite successful, and they may be around in 5 years, 10 years time. So new people every year that come along that don't know how to do coupons can go and still watch that video and it'll still be relevant.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway, got a minute left, Blake. So fill your 55 seconds before I cut you off.
I got to fill it. I don't have anything to say. We've said it all.
That's the first. We normally can't shut you up, mate. Yeah. Anyway, so we'll talk about it next week.
Yeah, so I've got a little recommendation though. Anyone that's got Prime.
34 seconds.
You're not going to cut me off. Anyone that's got Prime, it's an older video, but it's about the family of 13 that the parents kept them. What's the word? They kept the kids chained to their beds for like the oldest one was like 29 years old. I watched it last night. Amazing. Turpin, the Turpin family. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's Leanne's recommendation for the week for the podcast or for a video. And next week, Blake and I'll have one because we ran out of time. But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in. We'll talk about lots of more things regarding incomes and all those different things like Amazon. What else have I got here? Amazon, YouTube. We've talked a little bit about YouTube, but I want to talk about Grumpy Granny Reads next week as well. Amazon, Depop, drop shipping, wholesaling, printing on demand, Shopify, online courses. So we're probably going to make it about part 16 by the way we're going. But I do want to talk about those things because there's something I want to investigate this year. And it might even be a case that I do like a little series where we just go through the whole process and see if it's a feasible thing or if my world domination plans are being pushed back by 12 months because I've set myself back up. But that's and by all means, I've put it on the community page, and I'll put it on the community page again. Put your comments in there if there's something you want us to talk about or something for us to research the next week. We'll add that to the list as well because there's a lot of things out there that that I didn't even think of it. We've got Uber Eats and Uber and all those different things you can add to the list and all those different things. Personally, I might be doing those, but Blake can talk about those because he's done them previously and see if they're feasible or viable. But like I said, that we just want to delve into things that are outside of eBay because if you get banned off eBay, what do you go? If you're a full-time eBay seller and you get banned off eBay or you get suspended, for 3 or 4 days, you got no money coming in. Like what do you need to do, or what you need to look at, or excuse me, have set in place before you get to that stage. So, but anyway, we're going over time. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Bye.